It was on YouTube, right? He's the guy. He's the guy. I had it up earlier. Like last night. I did. It's this guy right here. He's got. You're going. Is this the guy you're going like this to? Okay. Oh, what's he say? I'll find out that today too. Hey, there's 512 people watching already, waiting for this. That's huge. I'm already on. I'm already on. We're already on. I want.
All right, this time it's not an accident, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happens when we have all these crazy technical difficulties going on. Oh, the bloopers. I have no idea what Tom said, but whatever he said, that's the real Tom. Let us know in the comments if Tom said anything crazy when I put him on without me knowing. I don't even know how long the guy was actually on. Oh, goodness. They can't hear you. Tom, they can't hear you right now, but I'm going to bring you on in just a second. Anyway, for those of you guys that are watching us on Facebook Live, make sure you share this, right? Do a watch party, do your thing, because it's going to, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I promise you it's going to be a good show. And for those of you that are on YouTube, make sure you not only like this, because when you like it, you sent this out in the troposphere. Lots of people start to watch. Everybody's saying you didn't say anything. And everybody's saying you didn't say anything. So I don't know. They just looked at you like looking like a. Sometimes I wonder if you say anything sometimes. All right. So I'm sorry. I'm not going to mess with you. So listen, also for those of you that are hitting that like button, thank you. We are already getting super chats and super stickers. Chestina, thank you so much. Those do mean a lot to us. Thank you for that. Without further ado,
Yeah.
let's get this going. What's going on, Mr. Tom Hughes? You are live and in living color, bro.
Okay. Yes, I am here. It was, I got to say, I needed some time away last week from everything. So thank you for giving me that opportunity.
I told him you were sick.
Yeah.
No,
well,
I'm joking. I'm kidding.
No, I don't care what you tell him. But what I know is I needed the time away. Started again on Sunday. Had a great time on Sunday. I have a prophecy update this Sunday night, James.
Hey, bro, it's
I'm
probably
excited
going to
about
be,
it.
listen, it's probably going to be really good because the prophetic implications of what we've been watching in Afghanistan have been unbelievable. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've been watching any of my updates, but bro, the
Yep.
geopolitical shifting that is taking place as a result of what we are seeing happening right now is unbelievable. And there is so much to talk about. It's just not even funny.
Okay. Well, I want to hear what you have to say. And I will say this. I'm looking at what's going on in Afghanistan. I believe it is going to affect the entire world
Bro,
because
like that's
you,
like an
yeah,
understatement of the century. You
yeah,
think?
yeah. Well, I mean, but most people look at it like, oh, that's just a small place over there in that part of the world, isolated. No, this is absolutely enormous. And you already mentioned the geopolitical things that are already shaping up. I've got several things to lead us into that direction. And did you hear about this one? I got to share this with you. I can't read all the words, but listen to this. You ready? I can't
Yes.
read the whole thing. Dr. Fauci dismisses freedom and call for medical procedure. The
Yeah.
time has come. Enough is enough.
Yeah. So Dr. Fauci doesn't think that you should have the freedom to be able to do whatever you want with your body. So I would sure love to apply this to those that are anti pro-life, that want to actually kill babies. Whatever happened to my body, my choice? I don't know. It's absolutely ridiculous, and that man is an evil man, and that's all I'm going to say. And I'm entitled to my opinion in saying that. I think that guy is dark. I think that guy is I think he's just evil. He's just, the guy is a great definition of what evil looks like. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. And I think that it's crazy that he somehow feels that he can mandate that the whole world go take on, at least in the United States of America, take on a medical procedure that we would normally have the kind of freedom to not have to do. And to me, I just look at that and I think it's the definition of absolute and pure insanity. And that's the world that we are in right now. That's the ugliness of what we're facing. And I got to tell you, it is evil, it's wicked, and this nonsense has got to stop.
Yeah. So I was reading, you know who Zuby Music is? A
Uh,
rapper. It's a rapper,
no,
right? Okay,
no.
it's probably not anybody you or I would normally follow, but what's interesting is his thought process and all of this madness. And he has 20 things that have developed that have been exposed since all this began. So think back a year and a half. One of them was, he said 20% of the world has been exposed as having authoritarian complex, and they will take advantage of a situation that's bad in order to exercise authority over everybody else. So I don't know if that number is correct. 20% of the people have this authoritarian complex, but you look at the leaders, like the one we were just talking about, Dr. Fauci, and what he said. You look at this and you go, okay, you can see how these things are developing. You can see the madness of these world leaders right now, especially these globalists, and you see what they want to do, and you think these are all people. It's like a whole bunch of people out of a James Bond movie that are all the evil villains, and there seems to be thousands and thousands of them, and they're just loving this, and they're loving creating this totalitarian worldwide regime that they're all out to pursue. What they
It's
don't understand, there's only going to be one person at the top, and that's going to be the Antichrist. But still, you look at this and you go, yeah, that's where this is headed.
Well, and that's kind of what that's what all of this is all about. All of this is about taking people's freedoms. You know, I look at this and I continue to see more and more evidence mounting of this, and we are headed towards the world of the Antichrist. I'm going to switch screens for a minute, because we didn't get to really discuss this. So I kind of wanted you to see. I kind of wanted you to give me your reaction on this, because This is just something that hadn't come up when we were watching it. And at the time, someone had brought it to my attention, and I'm like, no way. There is no way that this could possibly be happening. And so I got to show this to you because what you're about to see is literally insane. And when I say insane, I mean insane. We were talking about this giant commercial, right? And we were talking about
ago, right?
Right. And we were talking about the image of the beast. Right? And so I have got to show you this because this is crazy. I'm going to mute it because we don't need to hear the sound. The sound isn't all that relevant. But I do want you to see this because it is crazy. Okay, so watch this. This is the commercial for the for this. I call it the image of the beast, right? Okay, but watch what they do in this commercial. This commercial is crazy. All right, watch this, okay? Take a good look and tell me what you think of this. This is pretty insane, and I want you to see what it zooms to, okay? Watch this. Okay, so they're talking about, this is the world's largest selfie. Okay, now I'm going to slow it down in just a minute. Look at this. Look at that. Did you notice? Look at this. Look at this beast image. Do you see my mouse here?
Okay.
Look at the beast image
right
there, and look at the white horse.
That's a white horse up there? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to do something here. Your viewers are going to think I'm crazy, but they can't see me, can they? I got to walk up closer to the monitor.
No,
Is
they
that
can
okay?
see you. No, they can see you, but that's okay. Walk
Okay.
up closer to the
I'm
monitor.
going to
Go
walk up
ahead.
closer. I'm going to take these off for a second, and they'll
Okay.
be able to hear me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. I see a horse there. Roll it further. Can you roll it more?
Yeah, sure. Let me
Let me get out
rewind
of
it.
the camera.
Let me rewind it just a little bit so that you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. It's unbelievable. Watch this. Look
So
at
there's
that.
a horse. What's that other thing?
It's a beast. It's like a beast.
What's that other
Look
thing?
at, you can see the tooth, you can see his hand, you can see the beast. It's like a
Oh,
whole
that's
thing.
crazy.
Bro, I'm telling you.
So okay, go through it at just regular speed. And I want to see how, like,
this
a
was
subliminal.
regular speed. This was regular speed. Watch this. Watch. If you want, I can put on the audio. Here.
Visitors are scanned and instantly become a giant.
So that's been right
An
there. I
experience
never
to
saw that
share and
before.
remember.
Nobody saw it, bro. Nobody
you got
ever.
this white horse. You got this beast. You got people going in to do their giant selfies with this massive image. This is that's a trip.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's completely crazy. Like, to me, it's like unbelievable.
How'd you catch that? I don't know how I missed
Someone
it.
someone in our listening audience caught it, and I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I was like, holy smokes, what in the world is that thing?
That's the stuff like Disney, how they would do those subliminal messages in their movies. They put something in the middle of them. You look at that, and that just didn't disappear. It was there while they're talking.
Yep.
And the people are going in and out.
Listen, for the sake of people who are watching on their cell phones, I'm going to just completely remove the image right now. Remove our live image, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to find it. Let me go back. I'm going to find it so that people that are on their cell phones can actually see this. Okay, and I know that it's going to be a little tedious, but I just want people to be able to see it. Okay, so I'm going to go over right now to it. So that people can see it. Let me just switch over. Let me transition over here, okay? And it's going to go to my full shot, but there's a reason for this. Look at this on the full screen, everybody, okay? Watch this. Look at how crazy this is when I start going through. Look at how insane this is. If you can see with my mouse moving right here, see the beast, there's the hand. Look at the little white horse that's right there. That is absolutely crazy. That's what we're looking at. And by the way, near the end of this thing, you also see it. You also see it at the base of the giant in the picture. But that is literally what we are in the midst of watching right now. This is the world is being prepared for the coming of the Antichrist. That's exactly what's happening right now.
Wow, this is just unbelievable. I never saw that before. You just showed that. I watched the giant video shown it a few times, did the program with you. Let me read that passage from Revelation chapter 13.
Yeah, I believe it's right around verse 15 where the relevant portion is.
He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on the right hands or foreheads, that no one may be able to buy or sell unless they have the mark of the beast or his name, and the number of his name is 666. So you look at this, you go, this is just unbelievable. That's just weird.
Bro, you think for 1 second it was just some coincidence?
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't like some artist that put it up and said, "Oh, I'm just going to make a beast there because it looks cool." It's kind of a Worldly International thing. No, that's not what's going on.
Because it doesn't even fit in the whole, when you're watching the people walk into that giant selfie machine. Isn't that what it is? Did they go into that phone booth looking thing?
Yeah, it's on the background. So it's kind of like the white horse, and the beast is kind of overseeing the selfie machine.
And then you got the white horse in there.
Carmine, thank you for your support. God bless you. Thank you, Carmine. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, no kidding. Man.
I've never seen anything like it, bro.
Yeah.
We are definitely nearing towards the final days.
So you look at this, we have the good doctor in Washington, the evil doctor, whatever his name is, Fauci. Am I allowed to say evil Dr. Fauci? Because I heard that they're going to try and throw people in jail for saying something like that.
Listen, we're entitled to our opinion, right? We're not saying, he's a doctor. He is the head of the NIH. Whatever, okay? But I don't like the guy, and I'm entitled to say I don't like the guy.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
That's the bottom line.
It is. It's weird.
The guy is to say that he doesn't care about people's freedoms. It's ridiculous. How about this? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be very careful how I say it. I'm gonna be nuanced how I say it. Okay, but how is it that if you are in the military, you are mandated to have a health procedure, right? If you go to school, you're a student, you're 18 years old, you're mandated to have a health procedure. But then Jen Psaki gets interviewed. She's a member of the White House press corps. She is literally the secretary for Biden, press secretary. And she says, when she gets asked about the mandate, she says, "Oh, White House employees are not mandated to have the health procedure." Then they get asked this. Then the next question goes forth. And the question is, well, how many people in the White House have not received the health procedure? And she says, that's none of your business. It's protected health information. Bro, so for all, it's good for you guys, but it's not good for us. That's the insanity of what we're talking about. By the way, Hag, thank you for your support. You are amazing. Thank you. Sally, thank you for your support. God bless you. It is unbelievable what's going on when we see this happening, bro. That to me, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but that's the reality of what we're facing right now.
And people, what's really strange is how the majority of people are just going along with this and saying, well, that's normal. So we have all these federal mandates. You and I, others, J.D. Farag and so many others that are talking about these things are getting hit up for the exemption, right? The religious exemption, because it's pretty much, it seems to be going across the board. Corporations, especially public, health industry, whatever it is, people are saying, hey, look, this is mandated. We got to have this or we're going to lose our job. And the federal government is saying, you better have it or you're going to lose your job. And the federal government saying, but we're not going to take it. We don't want to. No, there's no way we're taking this thing. Are you crazy? Why would we take it? I mean, don't people actually question why the CEO of Pfizer still hadn't taken it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, as far as all of that is concerned, it's absolutely crazy. I still will just say this and then we'll leave it alone before we get taken down, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is I do not understand why we are living in the United States of America, yet there are people who continue to say that they insist that they can start making health decisions for you. You know, you should be free to make your own health decisions. I'm not saying do something or don't do something. I'm not saying stay away from this or run into that. But what I am saying is that every single American should have the freedom to be able to elect to not have a certain health procedure. I've elected not to have a certain health procedure. I'll never have a certain health procedure, right? That's just the reality of it. Yeah. That's the election that I've made, and I have the freedom to be able to do that.
Yeah.
It's sad, but that's the reality of it.
Yeah, it makes no sense at all. There's no sense behind the whole thing. And it amazes me that more people aren't questioning this, but the majority of people are just going along with it. I think if the social pressure is too great, I've heard it said that the only fear that's greater than the fear of death is the fear of social, of not being accepted socially.
Well, listen. This is the same exact reason why. And think about this. It's very interesting. This is the same exact reason why people are scared to stand up to yahoos like Black Lives Matter, because they're scared of being called racists. That's the reality of it. Michael Sanchez, thank you so much, brother. God bless you for the super sticker. I gotta say this. This is just for me. It's like one of these things where I just have to get off my chest. What is wrong? What is wrong with the so-called spiritual leaders right now? I've said it again and again and again. I brought it up. Why in the world are they not taking a stand for righteousness in all of this?
Mm-hmm. They refuse to. I think that they just want everybody to just praise them, get their accolades.
It's crazy.
And not say bad things about them and keep the money flowing in and keep the pews full or whatever. I mean, I look at it and go, it's a very strange thing. But at the same time, isn't that prophetic biblically?
The Bible says that would happen. Yep, the Bible says that would happen. And these are the same people that are getting money from the government, bail us out with the Paycheck Protection Program. These are the same people that are continuing to make money off the death of the future by continuing to market the people that are in their fellowship so that they can take the most money that they can out of them. And they might not come out right out and say that they're doing it that way, but that's exactly what they're doing. And people who go to churches like that ought to be leery. Yeah. You got to run away from those churches. And if you're a pastor and you feel that way, you need to quit the ministry because you're not called by God.
Yeah. I look at this and thinking, man, you know what? And Peter writes about the scoffers in the last days, making fun of those who are preaching, look, Jesus is coming again. And that's what these pastors are doing. They're mocking people like you and I who are saying Jesus is coming again. I saw that one post that the one pastor had that's down in your area, who won't mention his name, a post with the guy that was in the supermarket dressed like I can't remember what he was dressed like a
the one who was making fun of me for being fat.
Yes,
yeah, because he lost control.
And he was, and he's talking about you because you preach Jesus is coming, and then he took a shot at you personally. And I think, man, but this is what the Bible says. This is what they're going to do.
Bro, that's the same coward that put out a recommendation from a guy who's a black supremacist who basically said that Abe Lincoln was a white supremacist. No joke. When Abe Lincoln was probably one of the best friends to black people in our country in our nation's history. This was a guy who literally founded a movement based on abolition, right? Give me a break. It's completely ridiculous.
Yeah. It's terrible. Hey, what do you think about this one? Proud Boys leader who burned Black Lives Matter flag gets 5 months in jail. Did you see that?
And then if you burn an American flag, then for whatever reason you actually get an award, a raise, an award. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely ridiculous.
You're going to be all over. You're going to be praised everywhere and the whole bit.
It's just really bad. Yeah. It's really bad. Beth LeBlanc, thank you for your support, dear. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Okay. I'm going to shift attention for just a minute. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. So this says here, I've got to find it. Here it is. Afghan woman. This is from Jihad Watch. Afghan woman flees to India, says Taliban rape dead bodies. They don't care whether the person is alive or dead. You look at the stuff going on in what's happening to the people in Afghanistan. It's absolutely horrific. This article comes out of the Russian Times. Our allies don't trust us. Our enemies are emboldened. Vet who survived Kabul bombing on U.S. disastrous failure in Afghanistan. A U.S. combat veteran says he's heartbroken seeing what he considers to be treason committed on the American people by the Biden administration, who allowed the Taliban to retake power after fighting them for 20 years. We have that. Then there's this. I really want to hear what you have to say about the geopolitical shifting. Listen to this. This is a Jerusalem Post. Russia hosts Jordan's king hints at UAE deal. Russia's interest in rapidly expanding its role from China to Afghanistan across the Middle East to the Mediterranean has major ramifications for Israel. King Abdullah of Jordan met Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday. They discussed the situation in Syria and Afghanistan, according to Russian media reports. Of course, we hope for an exchange of views on the most pressing matters. They are the normalization of the situation in Syria and the current escalation in Afghanistan, said Putin. It is part of Russia's interest in expanding its role in the Middle East and in Afghanistan. Russia has been talking to Turkey about coordinating relations with the Taliban, and Russia may hold a joint military drill with China and with Iran later this year. Iran's Tasnim media said. The Russian ambassador announced that the exercises of the three countries will focus on maritime security and the fight against piracy, Iran's media reported. But it goes on. It's talking about all of the different developments taking place. You have Saudi Arabia involved, Russia taking the lead. This is what this is talking about. Russia taking the lead, bringing China in, meeting with Saudi Arabia, meeting with the King of Jordan, making deals, obviously, with Iran like they've been doing all over Syria and now Afghanistan. You talk about geopolitical shift that's taking place, and it's enormous.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And China, I believe China, Russia, Iran, every terror organization in the world right now has been strengthened by what Biden has done. Absolutely strengthened. China's threatening to invade Taiwan. Russia's threatening to take over the entire Middle East, which I believe is quite possible. And Israel is being isolated by some of their own decisions, by the way. Israel has been isolated.
But yeah, 100%. Really bad decisions, by the way. Israel's been making, under the leadership of Bennett, they've been making some really bad decisions. And I've been very, very disappointed by everything that I've been watching with respect to how Israel's been handling things. And again, it never ceases to amaze me the absurdity associated with the decision-making process that we've been watching with Israel. And again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, it's very, very disappointing. All right, let's do this. Let's talk for a minute about the geopolitical shifting that's going on. Now, what I'm going to do for the sake of people on phones being able to watch all this, I am going to shift over to a bigger screen. Actually, let me see if this screen will actually work. This screen might actually be able to work to be able to do what I'm needing to do. So let me go over here and let me bring us to the map, okay? Because the map is going to be a very helpful and a very useful tool to be able to determine what it is that I'm trying to talk about, okay? Now take a look at Afghanistan. I'm going to move my little picture-in-picture place right up. You'll see Afghanistan is right where I put my picture there, okay? Let me go look down. Afghanistan's that pink little area. When you look at Afghanistan, Afghanistan is now completely taken over by the Taliban. All right? It's completely. The Taliban has every aspect of Afghanistan. And let me tell you what this does. The geopolitical implications of what we're dealing with are pretty significant. And the biggest geopolitical implication I will share in just a minute. But if you look at Afghanistan, you'll notice that its southern and western border is all Iran. When you go above it, it's Turkmenistan, which is a whole other situation we could talk about. And the southern border of Afghanistan is Pakistan. Okay, Pakistan is a nuclear power. We're not going to get really into that. Them in India, there's a lot of things that are going on. When you look at Iran, obviously Iran has its own geopolitical implications. We know that there are several proxies of Iran that operate in Afghanistan and vice versa. Mujahideen is a big situation there. Iran just recently said, hey, listen, we are increasing our uranium production. And they just basically told the whole world, hey, by the way, we said we were doing it, but now we're telling you we have it, 60% pure. So who cares? Okay. But here's the situation that goes on. Now that Afghanistan is destabilized, that means there's no U.S. presence in Afghanistan. That means the whole eastern border of Iran is no longer an issue that they have to be concerned with. Tehran is not worried about it because the Caspian Sea to the north is something that they're going to end up having a little bit of possession over for lots of different reasons. There's some debate going on with Turkey and the Black Sea, and that's the sea above Turkey, right? But then you go and it's kind of swings over to Iran and Iraq and Syria and Jordan, and all of these nations are again in a lot of turmoil over everything that's going on. Now, let's not mention the fact that Lebanon is in huge trouble. Beirut's reporting the fact that they've probably in the worst financial crisis that they've ever been. So there's so much marked instability going on. Then to make things worse, now when you look at the Persian Gulf, which is the southern border of Iran, the Persian Gulf has now become markedly unstable. And the reason why it's become markedly unstable is because Saudi Arabia is now having to contend with the problems of controlling that area, especially to protect the interests of the UAE, which is slightly above Saudi Arabia. You've got Oman on the other side that, of course, is very concerned as well. And then you've got Yemen, which is to the south of Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia is concerned because they have to worry about the Arabian Gulf, and there's big problems there with Somalia, and of course with Ethiopia, which Somalia is becoming another hotbed because the United States of America is inserting themselves into issues in Somalia because of what the president has done. You've got the Sudan, which is of course the Sudanese border that's to the east, is actually covering the Red Sea. And then, of course, there's Ethiopia and that which is above there. And then you've got the situation of Egypt. Now, the big problem is who controls that territory. You have a big problem with that. And then you've got even more marked instability going on in the Mediterranean because you've got Turkey to the north that's basically saying, we're going to look for energy independence and we already have it. They're digging all throughout the Mediterranean Sea. You've got Libya, which is a big deal. And by the way, guess who's fighting for Libya right now? Russia is. There's a huge civil war that's going on between two factions in Libya. The faction most likely to win is the one directly supported by Russia, and Russia has every interest in developing control over a nation that covers a lot of surface of the Mediterranean. Of course, the European Union is going to start getting worried because if you look at the Italian boot that's over there, that becomes subject to a lot of problems because of what's happening on in the Mediterranean. So it does with Greece as well, Malta, some of these other areas. Tunisia is just going to go with the program. So we know everything that's going on. Morocco and Algeria also have some issues, as well as Mauritania. And of course, when we talk about the Northern Sahara, there's a whole other situation that's going on there. So there's marked instability. Now, here's the problem. The United States of America has basically said, we are leaving Afghanistan and we really have no interest in the region of the Mideast. Well, guess what? Afghanistan is basically saying, we need help, United States. The United States says, tough luck, you can shove it. And now it's being ruled by the Taliban, which basically means the United States of America has allowed itself to become no longer a superpower. It's diminished. In Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39, we know that there won't be any superpowers to be able to help Israel. So we're watching God begin to do that. And here's the funny thing about Ezekiel 38 and 39. Ezekiel 38 and 39 tells us that Russia, the leader of Russia, will be the leader in the attack of Israel. Now, the funny thing about that is the leader of Russia at this very moment as we speak says, hey, I see the problem in Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Jordan, Turkey, Saudi Arabia. I see the problem with Oman and Yemen. I see the problem with the Houthis, with what the United States of America just did. We see the problem with Egypt and their desire to want to protect Sharm el-Sheikh, which is the Sinai region. We want to take a hold of Libya. Guess what, everybody? My name is the leader of Russia. I am Mr. Putin, and I will be the guy that will be the stabilizing force now that the United States of America has backed off. And Putin is telling China, I don't care if you guys do what you want to do with Taiwan. Let me be the big boy in all of this. Let me take care of all of this, and I'll go ahead and I'll manage everything that needs to be managed. Folks, we are watching it happen. We are watching the diminishing of the superpower of the United States of America. China is going to get its rear end kicked because eventually when they start playing games with Taiwan, that's going to be the European Union's excuse to scapegoat them over the health crisis that's been going on. And we are going to watch it all fall into place. And who's going to be the only big player left in the game? It's going to be Russia. And when Russia comes with its coalition to attack Israel, we're not going to be here during that time. All of it's going to fall into place. You can't make this stuff up, and the geopolitical implications of what's happening here are absolutely insane. There's no way in the world I could be making this stuff up. This is very real, you guys. Jesus is coming soon, and that's exactly what we're looking at right now.
Yeah. It's just, it's mind-boggling to watch how fast everything is developing. And out of all of this madness, out of all of the chaos, listen, what will eventually come out of all of this, there's going to be this global kingdom, and the Antichrist is going to sit at the top of it. And it's going to develop. And we already know what the desire of these globalists is, but it's going to go that direction. But you look at it right now we can see it. And James, you and I, Don, and others have been saying for years, and we've been ridiculed for it. How could it ever happen? And so forth, that America will not be the superpower that it has been. It cannot be because of what the Bible says. And people go, oh, America's in the Bible, it's the great nation. What great nation at the end is it? How many times have we said that over and over and over again? And this is what I've surmised in the past. You probably, same thing, is that here's what's going to happen with America. One, the rapture is going to take place, and that'll take care of the problem with America. Or there's going to be war, or there's going to be economic collapse, or America's just going to collapse because of its own immorality and its own inability to even make right decisions because we've been given over to a debased mind. You look at all of these things and you're thinking they're all coming into play. Hopefully the rapture, but you look at all of them. I mean, how close are we to the absolute collapse of America? I'm looking at this. It's horrible to see what's happening.
We're already seeing it. We're already seeing it. He did this. He played this game. Look, Putin. Let's forget Putin. Listen, Biden did it. We're watching the United States of America completely collapse. We're watching it collapse. Look, I'm going to show you a video. Well, go ahead and say what you need to say, and then I want to get to some of these super chats, and I'm going to show you this video. This video is going to blow your mind.
I would liken what's happening in America to the building that's been it's been armed with explosives to collapse, to be demolished, and it's already been triggered, and we're already watching the building fall. This is America. We're partway through the fall. We're about ready to hit the ground, and you're absolutely right. It is Putin that's going to come out on top. Somehow in all of this, Israel's going to think they're dwelling in peace and safety when all is said and done, and they're going to be surprised when Putin and all of the other nations come against Israel. Listen, it is developing. It again is mind-boggling to me. At a time when Israel is isolated, unbelievable what's happening, James. Unbelievable. Yet, if you understand the Bible, we knew that it had to come to this. The end of America is what we're watching.
Yep, 100%. 100%. And I want to just make a quick mention so that we can move forward because there's so many of these, and I just wanted to say something. Beth LeBlanc, thank you for your support. God bless you. Eye on the Prize, thank you. I know there's many more of you that have been contributing, and I'm going to acknowledge all of you guys. You guys are great. We will get to that near the end. Richard Manning, thank you. Shelly B, thank you so much. You guys are great, and thank you for all your encouraging and kind words. I think it's very encouraging when all of this stuff happens and you guys say what you're doing. Trevor, thank you so much. And so you do make this comment. You say, Tom and James, not to be confrontational, but I've heard you guys attribute what Joe is doing to ignorance. This is deliberate, in my opinion. No, don't get me wrong. Joe Biden might be ignorant, right? But much of this is very deliberate in many ways. That's a very true thing. There's so much of that's actually happening, and it's absolutely true. Shelley, thank you. The Convergence, thank you. Ophir, God bless you. Richard, thank you. Look, let me show you this video. Let me show you how ridiculous this is becoming, because this is getting to the point where it's so unbelievably out of control. And when I say out of control, look, I mean out of control. Did you ever think, first of all, that we would negotiate with the Taliban? I mean, who in their right mind would ever do anything like that, right? But let's take it a step further. This isn't just negotiating with the Taliban. Look at what Jen Psaki is about to tell everybody. And what she says here is completely insane. This is completely insane. And I want you to see this. Watch what gets said here. This is crazy, okay? And by the way, when she says this, understand, this has been her intention. You'll notice at the beginning of her answering this question, she's going to catch herself saying what she says later on, but she holds herself to not come outright with it. She wants to sort of slither it in. But listen what she says, and I'll let you identify what's wrong with what she says, because what is wrong with this picture is a bad one. It's a really, really bad one. And when you see what she ends up saying here, it's going to blow your mind, okay? Tell me if you can identify the problem with what she says.
The Taliban is clearly on the march. Your objective is to have a negotiated political settlement. What gives you confidence the Taliban is interested in that?
Well, the Taliban has to make an assessment. One, we have also said that there's no question that the Afghan National Defense Security Forces would be strengthened, as would the Afghan political leadership, if they were to have more success in fighting back. There's no question about that. We're not hiding from that in any way, shape, or form. The Taliban also has to make an assessment about what they want their role to be in the international community. And I know that Ambassador Khalilzad made comments when he was at the political...
Oh, wait, based on your reaction.
Wait a minute. Did she just say the Taliban has to make the assessment of what they want their role to be in the international community? Is this insane?
Let me and listen to the very beginning when the question gets asked to her, okay? I'm not going to put on the video.
I couldn't hear the question.
Listen, well, you don't have to listen to the question. Just listen to how she answers it, okay? And I am going to up the volume so you can hear the question. Listen to this.
The Taliban is clearly on the march. Your objective is to have a negotiated political settlement. What gives you confidence the Taliban is interested in that?
Well, the Taliban has to make an assessment. One, we have also...
Well, the Taliban has to make an assessment. And then she changes what she's saying. Now look at how she goes back to refer to the Taliban again with respect to making an assessment. Listen to this.
The Taliban also has to make an assessment about what they want their role to be in the international community. And I know that Ambassador...
So can you tell that she had this rehearsed? She had it rehearsed, but she didn't want to jump right in and say it. She wanted to kind of wait a little bit to sort of insert her credibility to the Taliban as having a way in the international community. And make no mistake about it, this is a global mechanism right here that is being deployed. That's what we're looking at. This is not a joke. We're not playing around.
Okay, this is bizarre. Let me read this before you go with the rest of the video. You ready for this? Because this goes along with the last question where the guy said, I believe this is intentional. This article says Afghanistan could not happen by accident. There's no way the military forgot to bring Americans home, or just decided to give the Taliban all our weapons, or to allow them to have all the biometric data to identify all who helped the U.S. And then with what Jen Psaki just said, and you're looking at this and that question that came in, wow. I mean, this is just, to give the Taliban this international, decide what they want to be in the international community, it's bizarre. But it can only be, this is evil. It's planned. Wickedness.
This is what we're facing. This is the nonsense that we're facing.
They don't care how many people are killed. They don't care how many innocent people killed. By the way, these are the same people who are making decisions for Afghanistan and the people being killed there. These are the same people that are telling us that abortion is good. These are the same people that are telling us that we need a certain medical procedure because it's for our safety. Okay,
listen to Jake Sullivan. Jake Sullivan in the White House briefing is using terms like, no joke, and I'm not joking, straight dope. Let me play the soundbite for you. He's using a term like straight dope. I'm not lying. Listen to the context of the statement. You'll be blown away.
I bristle at saying we bragged. Okay, I haven't bragged about anything. I'm trying to give you the straight dope from here, the good and the bad, and that means a lot to me.
The straight dope.
What in
the world does it mean to say straight dope anyway?
I remember when I was a drug dealer. That's what that reminded me of. I mean, seriously, it's not a laughing matter, but I mean, I look back at 35, 40 years ago, and I remember talking like that. Okay, so this is what we're taking, the straight dope. Can we call it straight dope now? I guess we can.
I mean, you're hearing it right out of the words of the White House. It's the White House that's saying it. That's the words of the White House.
Unbelievable. We're in such a wicked place. We are in such a bad place here in the United States of America.
Listen,
We are
and
in such a bad place.
I just want you to understand, this is all the result of an organization, the White House administration, that is literally looking to, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm not lying when I say this, they are looking to promote this wokeism, this nonsense, this garbage, right there. Listen, we just heard it. We heard the Secretary of Defense, we heard the chairman of the Joint Chiefs talk about why the single most greatest danger to the military of the United States of America is white rage, right? And so, oh yeah, you're really worried about those things. You're woke as woke could be, but yet you're destroying the country. This is something, talk about this. Look,
Okay.
this, what I'm about to show you is exactly the kind of nonsense that the White House supports. And I'm not kidding. This is exactly the kind of nonsense that they support. And again, it'll blow your mind when you see this. I will put this out front. I'm going to actually, what I'll do is I'll go to a bigger screen so that people can kind of see your reaction to this. But this is the kind of insanity that is being promoted now in the White House. This is the kind of stuff that they're talking about, that they're backing. This is the nonsense. Be ready for this. Watch this woman basically explaining why calling women females is a sexist microaggression. I'm not kidding you. This is part of the wokeism, the woke industrial complex that exists in the United States of America right now because of Joe Biden. Listen to this nonsense right here.
Calling women females is a microaggression. Microaggressions are indirect forms of discrimination with implied negative connotations that are usually directed at members of societally marginalized groups. They're a powerful discriminatory force that reinforce societal prejudices. Females refers to the sex of animals that produce eggs, whilst only humans can be women. Therefore, referring to women as females carries an implication that is objectifying and dehumanizing. We also live in a patriarchal society where men hold power over women, and we don't typically refer to men as males in common conversation. Therefore, the use of the term females, especially from men, reinforces patriarchy and the systemic subordination of women. This doesn't mean that every man who refers to a woman as a female is sexist, but it's important that we carefully consider the impact of our words as they hold power.
Good.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I just good.
Oh my God. You know, that kind of, it turns my stomach. Okay. While you played that, I mean, I was like, you gotta, this stuff
It's
just demonic.
disgusting.
Okay,
It's
it is-
disgusting.
Okay, ready? You gotta listen to these words. These are lyrics. Are you ready for this?
And I don't even know if that's a man or a woman, by the way.
I don't either.
I think it's a man trying to be a woman, a male
can't
trying to be a female.
Certainly can't say anything about a woman. Okay, so listen to this. Okay, remember Prince, the songwriter, performer?
Oh yeah,
Passed
sure.
away? Okay, so he had a song called New World. Here's the lyrics. Are you ready? Okay.
Yeah.
When the sharpest vibration saves you from obliteration, the intelligence of your bed reacts, covering you head to toe with an air-filled sack. Now listen to this. When the lines blur every boy and girl, right? So listen to what he's saying here. This is a trip because I don't know how many years ago he wrote this. When the lines blur every boy and girl, which is basically what that person just said on there. How are we going to make it in this brave new world? Love for one another, new world, new world. Okay, when you want to find some isolation, but the tracker you got from Voop. So he says, he wrote this song decades ago, I guess. So he's talking about the lines in this new world are going to be blurred between boy and girl. What are they? He says there's going to be a tracker in your system that you get from that, right? Keeps playing, you'll never walk alone. They're always listening, especially on the phone. When the lines blur every boy or girl, how are you going to make in this brave new world? Did you hear about the new pill? Guaranteed to thrill, blah, blah, blah. No ill side effects. A pill that will stop your wrinkles. A pill that will stop the pain. A pill that will make a baby never seek political gain. What's it all for when you can alter biology? I mean, you go. I'm not. These lyrics are. I don't know how long ago he made up this song. He wrote these lyrics. You look at
look. This is because this is stuff that's been deeply embedded within human nature. Satan
yeah.
has always wanted to control people, and
And he's
I
saying,
know
"This is
when
the
we
new
when
rule."
we talk to Monkey on Friday, we're going to talk to him about, Satan is up to the same old tricks. This is what he does.
Yeah,
This
I'd
is
like to go
exactly
on-
what he does. We're watching history repeat itself.
that's just a trip. That is a trip, because
That's what we're looking at right now, bro. That's the disgusting picture that's being drawn from the world that we live in right now. The deviance is growing. The wickedness is growing. We're continuing to see it again and again and again and again. And things are getting darker. And the geopolitical implications of the prophetic mechanisms that are driving all of this forward is astounding. It's like unbelievable. It's completely unreal, and that's what's happening. I mean, come on. Look, if you live in the state of California, look at the big party that Nancy Pelosi was having. Listen, the only people that were covering themselves, if you know what I mean, the only people that were covering their faces were those that were the servants who were minorities. But every single other person that was sitting there, she was giving her speech, they're outdoors, they're sitting shoulder to shoulder, they're enjoying themselves, no one's wearing anything on their faces. There's none of that kind of stuff going on. And yet, that's always what it is. For the ruling class, our rules are different than they are for those being ruled. Yeah. And the United States of America, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, recognizes the freedom that God has given to those who govern, right? To those who are governed, right? It's that freedom that we have given to us by our Creator, right? And that freedom is being denied yet again and again and again and again. Why? Because we are moving in the direction of the final Antichrist. That's the reality of it. Trevor, by the way, thank you for your support. God bless you. And you're right. You're right about what you're saying in your comment. It's very, very true.
Yeah, James, you comment on the Nancy Pelosi party. I think it was $10,000 a person. You commented on the minorities.
Yeah, it was a fundraiser.
The minorities that were the servants. And that was one of the things that struck me. I'm looking at this fundraiser for the people who care so much about the people of color. I noticed a whole lot of white people that were also, it was a lot of rich white people.
Look, I've said this before. The Democratic Party is the most racist party in the look. They're one of the most racist organizations in the country. That's the reality of it.
Yeah, and they certainly didn't play by the rules that they tell everybody else to abide by. If anybody hasn't seen, just Google. You can still find the video. It's out there in some places. They've been trying to pull it down everywhere. It's kind of like when Pelosi went and got her hair cut, when she told everybody you can't get a haircut. And I'm looking at this stuff, just going, this is unbelievable. Check this out. In France, supermarkets have now hired bouncers to prevent the people like me and James from buying food, water, and medical supplies. And so I think of Revelation chapter 13, where no one can buy or sell unless they receive the mark.
Yep.
Man, are we being prepared?
Yep.
This world is being prepared.
Yep. It's the truth.
And
That's
again,
that's exactly what's going on, and no one should be surprised by it. The
And
Bible
so
said this would happen. We knew this was coming. It's here. Welcome to the end times, because we're here.
Yep, we are here. And you look and think that pastors are shaming the rest of us for saying these things, that we need to watch out. Jesus himself said you need to watch and be ready. Hey, did you hear about the 300 ballots that were stolen in California?
Oh boy, we can't talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
we
never
can't.
mind.
We can't.
It did happen, though. It did happen. The police
it
found.
did. Look,
Okay.
I know. There were. Yeah, but I mean, we don't want to
Okay.
go. We don't want to
All
go
right.
into territory that's crazy. You know what I mean?
All right.
I
I'm
sorry.
Go there.
I mean, I know it. Look, I know.
No.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. But
yeah, I get it. Hey, did you? Okay. Now there's this hit piece that was done by the OC Register on pastors that we know, because they had their churches open, and they said church leaders pushing political extremes. And Tim Thompson was mentioned as one of them. Joe Pettick, who's down there by you, was mentioned as one of the radical ones. This is the OC Register, and it went on to say how bad these pastors are, along with a couple of others, but how the majority of them, this is really talking about your area where you live in, for the most part. Tim's out by me, but most part, it's all around where you are, in Orange County. And how the majority of these pastors are all on board, and they understand that these other pastors, how evil they are.
Yep. 100%.
I mean, it was a total hit piece. I read it, and it was reading way worse than anything I've seen coming from the New York Times.
They were beating up Tim Thompson. I think they were beating up Joe Pettick. They were beating up a few others, and they're making unfair characterizations about their positions on things.
Yeah,
Very unfair characteristics.
Yeah, you take things out of context. You aren't willing to talk to them. But it was OC Register, which it was always thought to be a conservative publication. You look at that, and I thought it was worse than the New York Times. All I could think of is there's probably some certain pastors in your area that have obtained financial interest in the OC Register. I mean, because when you read the article, you're like, why are they going after these pastors?
And I do want to go back to something that you said earlier with respect to that report about things that were stolen. I would highly recommend that you go to the Torrance Police Department and look at their press release. They have a press release about that, about some items that were stolen. I think you should go and investigate that. I think it's very, very important, critically important.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. Here's one more thing I want to bring to your attention. I want to hear your comment on this.
Yes, sir.
San Francisco moves to suspend police, fire, and sheriff's employees who refuse certain. Well, I can't say because you'll be censored.
Oh, because they refuse to take a certain medical procedure.
Right.
It's ridiculous. Once again, here's what it is. You can still work at the White House. Let me say that again. You can still work at the White House if you do not choose to take a mandated medical procedure that's being given out to everybody else. If you're in the military, you have to take it. If you're in school, you can't go to school if you don't have this medical procedure. Think about this for a second. They are getting to the point where if you're in New York, you can't go to a restaurant. You can't eat. You can't shop. It's getting to that point. They are beginning to go to business owners and find business owners, literally tell business owners, you are gone if you choose to allow people to come in that have not had this procedure. And yet, think about this for a second. The police department in San Francisco, they need more police officers. They don't need less. San Francisco's crime rate has increased 85% over the last year. And yet, if you work at the White House, you're the ruling class. Don't worry, it's not mandated for you. But if you want to go out there and put your life at risk and chase after people who are shooting you and all that, oh no, hey, no problem. Everything is fine. It's okay. No problem. You're fired. Think about the insane hypocrisy of all of that. This is literally, it is like we are living in a socialist communist country. Yeah. This is so demonic.
And guess what's going to happen? In the place, I believe even this is part of a plan. Because in the place of these police that are being removed, they're going to hire people who don't have your best interest. They're going to hire people who have this agenda that is against your freedoms. That's what they're going to do. I want you to imagine this also, James. Let's say you're flying somewhere and let's say 10% of pilots say, hey, we're just going to retire. We're not going to finish anymore because we don't want to do that. So guess what you're going to have? You're going to have pilots that aren't qualified to fly that 747 that you're on. That's what's going to happen.
Oh,
that's a real scenario.
Look, listen,
and you're going to get on that plane.
Yeah, no, it's going beyond that. They're saying that if you're white and you're qualified and you're black and not qualified, we'd rather have the black not qualified pilot fly.
I did read that.
Tell me that.
I read that a couple months ago.
Tell me that. Listen, these ridiculous mandates that they are employing to people right now is the reason why I'm not going back to Israel. It's the reason why I'm not getting on a plane anytime soon. Because listen, here's the bottom line. If you're going to get on a plane, look, you've got to put on a mask. Look, that's the bottom line. And it's not like you're going to prove a point. Listen, I'm just telling you, if you're somebody that doesn't like to put masks on, if you go on an airplane, don't fight there. Okay? You get on an airplane, you have to put it on. You're not going to make a point. You're just going to simply get arrested, right? So my thing is I choose not to get on an airplane. I mean, unless it's a private plane, I'm not even going to get on an airplane. And here's the reason why. Because we are being mandated to do things with respect to our health. I have health reasons why I cannot do some of these things. I also have religious reasons why, deeply held religious beliefs about these things. So since when am I being told, why is it that I'm being told I cannot make a decision for my own body? Mm-hmm. It's absolutely ridiculous. I am nobody. I will never go up to somebody and say, you must do this or you must not do that. That's ridiculous. What you do is in between you and the Lord, and it's a decision you have to deal with. You need to do the research. You need to figure out the consequences of what's going on. You need to make the assertions and the assessments necessary to be able to do the things that you believe you should do. But my whole point is you should always have the freedom to do it. You should always have the freedom to be able to make those decisions. I choose to make the decision not to go through certain medical procedures because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's not good for me, right? But that's me. I'm not telling anybody else not to do it. So why should the government have to sit down and tell everybody, you must do this, or you can't work, or you can't do this, or you can't do that? And I'm telling you, this is going to backfire real soon.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big backfire.
Yeah, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell that there's something else going on here. That's the strange thing. But I think the social pressure is so intense that people there's fear, there's peer pressure fear. They don't want to be left out of the group.
100%.
And it's groupthink. You know, George Orwell talked about that in his book 1984. When he wrote
100%.
that, 100 years ago almost. So
100%.
Okay. So I know we're almost out of time. Do you want to take questions?
Yeah, we could take a few questions. Listen, if you have a question, please put question in all caps and then give us your question. That would be great. We'll be happy to do it. Be glad to do it. Daniel, thank you for your super chat. And he's saying he's been listening to us for 3 years. What a blessing. God bless you, Daniel, for doing that. I got to say this. I also want to make another comment regarding this. When in a time where we're watching the world change, talk about adding insult to injury, right? Mm-hmm. We're already being mandated to do things that many people don't want to do. We're being told we have to make certain health decisions, and that's just the way it is. Otherwise, we can't live. And to add insult to injury, you know what these people do? To add insult to injury, now they are taking away for the United States of America as a nation to be viewed as a superpower. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is. It's that bad. Let me give you an easy one. John Lutz is asking what the name of the Prince song was. You have any idea what the name of that song was?
New World.
Okay, it's called New World. So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, this is an interesting one. Jen, I don't know. I don't know if this is a comment or it's a question, and I've got to vet that out. I don't know. Jen is telling us, I don't know if this is true, that the Taliban is saying that no more Afghans will be able to leave as of today. Again, since when are we giving the Taliban the voice to be able to make these kinds of decisions?
Well, Jen Psaki said
it's
that
absolutely
the Taliban,
crazy.
Jen Psaki said they could. They get to decide what their position will be with the international community. So they're making. I mean, this is stuff. It's terrible. It's absolutely.
This
wicked.
is a good. Can I just tell you this?
Yeah,
this is a good one. Actually, this is kind of encouraging. Melissa Adams, by the way, thank you for your support. She says, "I'm newly saved and eternally grateful for you guys." That's very, very sweet. Beth LeBlanc has a question. Maybe Tom, you could answer this.
Okay.
What can we do other than complain? Right? We have no power. That's what she's saying. And by the way, we do have power right now. First of all, we have the power of the Holy Spirit living inside of us, but there are things that we can do beyond complaining.
Absolutely. I told our church Sunday morning, James, you tell your church a lot, but I told them Sunday morning, I said, look, you have to get involved in the school board. Right now, the school boards are where the big fight is. You start making the changes there. Listen, we have a fairly large church for the size of our community. If people at our church would stand up and get involved in the school boards, it would change the dynamics of the valley that I live in. I know
100%.
it would.
100%.
Get involved in your city councils. People have been blasting me and you saying it's beyond the hope. You're not going to do anything by getting involved in these. Yes, you are, because you can pressure your city. It's city councils that are making these decisions. It's these woke CEOs that are making these decisions. You can push back against this stuff. If the people would rise up and say, no, we're not going to put up with you treating our children this way. You don't own our children. You get involved in the school boards, you get involved in the city council, and you say, no, we're not going to walk around our city wearing a mask. We're not going to do that. Don't be doing this. You get enough people, they will respond. Here's the only reason why they are on this side right now that has so much inertia. There's so much force behind it. Is because there's a small amount of people who have a very, very big voice. It's a small amount of people. It was that way in Nazi Germany. Hitler, it was a very small amount of people, but they start making a loud voice. Listen, we're a large amount of people, but people have been pressured into just going along with it. And Christians are some of the worst at this, James. Christians are some of the worst. Let's just do a big group hug and just go along with it because we don't want to cause any problems, and therefore. No, that's a cop-out is what that is. That's a cop-out.
It's a huge cop-out. Listen, it's beyond huge. It's a kind of compromise that it's like, listen, if all you do is vote, you're lazy. And I'm sorry to say that. You're lazy or you're just ignorant because there is so much more that you could do. And it always starts at the local level. Listen, we are about to make history in the United States of America if you live in California. Do you understand that in California you have a remarkable chance? We have an astounding chance to fire the governor and to put a new governor in place. We have an astounding chance. By the way, one of the leading contenders to be in the position of the current governor is actually saying, I'm getting rid of the mandates first day in office. I'm going to make the mandates illegal. Imagine how much of a change that would end up making. Imagine saying, I'm going to make teaching critical race theory illegal in schools in the state of California. Can you imagine how quick we're going to fix it? He says, I'm going to declare war on the homeless situation, right? Mm-hmm. And I do want to make a comment on this because there are some really wonderful people that are running to take place of the current governor. I look at candidates like Anthony Trimino and some of these other guys. They're really, really wonderful guys. But there's only one candidate that's conservative that has a chance of beating the governor right now. And I liken him very much like President Trump. We don't really know what to do with him. I don't think he's a believer, but he's going to turn out to be one of the biggest defenders of the church in the state. And I'm not saying that he's the savior. I'm not saying that government turning into conservatism is the savior. But what I am saying is whatever chance we have to put somebody in office that can undo the unmitigated mess that the current governor has done, we really need to consider that. Mm-hmm. And we have a chance. Listen, there is an overwhelming amount of people that are saying that they are going to remove this governor from office. Yeah. I don't want to say the other word because the other word will trigger, our censorship here. But we have an amazing chance at doing this.
Yeah, we do. And not only that, if people throughout the entire nation just think about this, if California goes this direction, the direction that you're saying, James, if California goes this way, it has the potential to change the entire country.
100%.
Because that will embolden every single state that is putting up with the nonsense. It'll bolden all the people that are saying, we're not gonna put up with this anymore from our governor. We're not gonna put up with this anymore from our mayor. That is what will happen. Because imagine if California flips in this direction, it's gonna be enormous. If all of a sudden we have a governor in California who does that, it'll be enormous for the whole country.
Yeah,
so pray for California.
And I also want to say this about people who believe certain things about what happened in these elections. And I want to be very careful how I say this. Look, whoever is in office right now is in office. The bottom line is this. President Joe Biden is in office right now. He's the president of the United States. So instead of us saying, hey, I'm really upset, I bought my pillow from Mike Lindell, which he does make really good pillows and you should go over there. Instead of just saying, hey, I voted, I did the right thing and it didn't work, so now I'm moving on, stop it. Go and knock on doors. Go and talk to people. Listen, sit down in your school boards, get involved in your council members, and my goodness, seek to be a monitor on those nights where they're beginning to count through all the votes. Get involved in the process. You can't complain about things not being where they are if there's nobody there. Listen, and here's the reality of it. If things didn't go the way that they should have gone, then where were all of the monitors? There's a lot of people that were on our side that didn't want to get involved, and the only time they wanted to get involved was when they recognized that things were going in the wrong direction, and they were saying, oh, well, we want in now, we want to get this involved. But in reality, the people on the other side, the Democrats, they were in this on the long game. Folks, They were in on this. They started this process 40 years ago. So to think that all of a sudden we're entitled to get some kind of instant gratification is a bunch of baloney. Mm-hmm. It's a bunch of baloney. We need to start working at this. Yeah. We need to make some investments in this. Yeah. We need to take 20 minutes a day and put in some extra time, make a few phone calls, get involved in the process.
Absolutely, get involved. One more question. I got enough time for one more, then I got to cut out.
Okay, boy, you really.
Sorry.
You were just in a rush to just.
Is this alive? Is this alive? This is that show.
It is alive. Brenda, thank you for your support. Brenda, God bless you. NTI driver, thank you so much. Okay. I'm not sure I understand this question. And I'm not sure if the reference. I don't even think the reference is right here. Let me check this before I actually bring up the question, because I think the reference is actually incorrect. Maybe the reference can be changed here. I'm going to ask you this question, bro, because I think the answer is relatively obvious, but I just want to make sure that we are correct here. Yeah. So I got that right. Okay. So NT Diver, by the way, thank you for your support. God bless you. NT Diver says, and I think there's a typo here. There has to be, right? Daniel 14 tells you when the temple will be built and how long it takes. It takes 220 days to build. There is no Daniel 14.
No, there's Daniel 12. Stop.
Yeah.
Chapter 12.
So I don't know. Maybe you can help me with that. We don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
Diver. I have no idea what that means.
I don't know where the 220 days to build the temple comes from.
Yeah, I don't either.
My guess is some other prophecy person on YouTube said it and got that number, not from the Bible.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah. I absolutely have no clue.
But maybe think through the question again and resend it. We'll do it next week.
Yeah, I think so. If you can rethink the question and then send it my way, then of course we'll do that. Okay, here's a question. It's a good question. What's your thought on this? Malcolm Reed is asking this. Is the Taliban being funded by Iran and or Russia? It's actually a very good question and probably relevant to some of the things that we've been talking about as of late. Yeah.
Who do you think is funding the Taliban? I can guarantee you the United States has given major funds to the Taliban. There's money left in the bank. I think
they may be the primary funder of the Taliban, to be honest with you. They've left them with weapons. They've left.
They've left them with weapons. They've left the money in the bank. I don't think anybody else needed to. I don't think Russia needed to, or Iran. Right. I think Russia and Iran are thinking this is great. It's like a gift. But I think I go back to that question, one of the earlier questions to us, James. Don't you guys think that this is intentional? Yeah, I do think it's intentional.
I agree.
I don't know. I seriously don't know if Biden himself knows what's really going on, but people behind the scenes are calling the shots, and they do know what's going on. I mean, it doesn't take a very smart person to know that if you pull out the way we did, what's going to happen, and you give them all the funds, you give them all the military equipment. Listen, a 10-year-old could figure that out.
100%.
So this is intentional.
100%.
But I do think that I would say United States. My guess is the United States is the biggest funder of the entire operation of the Taliban right now. That is slaughtering women, children, raping them, taking children as slaves to be sex slaves, murdering dads, boys, the whole bit. I think that's the United States is complicit in all of that.
Yep,
not
100%.
just complicit. I think they're directing it, which is horrible.
Yep, 100%. I would agree. Oh, my goodness. Okay, bro, final thoughts, final statements. I'm going to give you a last word before we end things.
Okay, here's my last word. Folks, you and I are watching all of these things converge at the same time. James already said it. Listen, these are the last days. They're not the tribulation. Don't confuse that. But we're looking at everything that's taking place. Don Stewart says all the time, you can't make this stuff up. It's like every single day, it's like every hour of every day, there's more and more things that are taking place. We look at all of the signs in the Bible regarding the second coming of Christ, and we are watching all of these things converge in our time. And you look at Israel, you look what's going on in Afghanistan, all of the incredible work that James put together with the map and the geopolitical situations. And you throw in, obviously, Russia and Iran and Turkey and China. You throw in Taiwan. You throw in the wars and rumors of wars. James, there's these earthquake reports that are coming up. There's all kinds of things. The pestilences, the fear of pestilences. All of these things are developing right now. And it's obvious to me, James, that that when we're told you can't buy or sell unless you receive something, listen, we're being programmed. We're being shaped. We're being
100%.
programmed. In the words of Don Perkins, he says, what God is doing, he's moving the entire world to the end of the story, just like this. And we're all here right now. That's where we are. So look up. Jesus said, your redemption draws near. Keep this in mind also, where Jesus says that in Luke chapter 21, he's talking about the second coming of Christ at the end of the tribulation. So if he's saying that, and we're looking at these things develop, how close the rapture must be.
Yeah, 100%. I could not agree with you more. I think that we are so close to the end time. Great insight, bro. Till again, we got a lot of stuff going on. Listen, you are going to be with me in studio on Friday.
Yes. Friday,
right?
I'm going to be with Monkey.
Monkey's going to be with us. So Monkey Works. That's going to be great. We're really looking forward to that. Scott B, thank you for your support. All of you guys that have been super chatting and super stickers, thank you for all of that. We hope you guys enjoyed this as much as we enjoyed making it. We love you guys. We are going to sign out. Tom, you want to close in prayer for us, bro?
Yeah. Lord, we thank you that you love us and you keep us and you give us wisdom as you guide us through your word. Help all of those who are watching and will watch to be strengthened, because we know that your word gives us your peace. Your word directs us. It gives us light on this dark path. Lord, we remember by your word that we are citizens of heaven. We're going to be home with you. This world is not our home. Your word also told us what things are going to look like just before we go home, and they're looking like that. We thank you. We lift up everybody watching to you. We pray that you would keep them in perfect peace in Christ Jesus. Amen.
Amen and amen. And folks, I just want to give you a heads up on something, because this is going to bless you. I think you are going to be super excited. But as we finish this video, as I basically take it off of being on the air, you are going to be immediately redirected to the premiere of my video. It's the thumbnail on it says "Let's Talk," but the title is "The Pope Just Said This About Afghanistan." So as soon as we end this, you're going to go to that. All of you guys, thank you for your support. We love you. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Keep looking to the Lord. We love you guys. Keep fighting the good fight, and we'll see you on Friday. And Dale and I also be doing a live video on Thursday. We got a lot of stuff going on, guys. We're bringing a lot your way.